If you're interested in interior design, you might have heard of a designer called Kelly Wearstler, and you might also know about MasterClass, a platform where you get to learn from the best in the industry. For those that don't want to pay an annual subscription fee and also sit through potentially 3 hours of content, this video is for you because I watched the course, made meticulous notes, and will be sharing with you the most useful and key insights from the class, and you get the best of everything in about 15 minutes or so. At the end, I'll also share with you the pros or cons of this course so you can better decide for yourself whether you want to sink in the money and the time and take the class for yourself. Just a quick note, if you're new to this channel, my name's BaiXu. Hi, I'm a licensed architect. I absolutely love design, and on this channel I share architecture and interior design knowledge so we can make our homes really nice. So if you're in love with beautiful aesthetics and feel-good environments, then you're in the right place, and I hope you'll subscribe. To inspire you, Kelly advises collecting things that attract you and are beautiful to you. For example, fashion is a significant source of inspiration. Think of how a scarf can inspire a rug design, or how the colors in an outfit can influence a room's palette. And a bracelet might even inspire a door handle or a dining table design. If you already have a collection of objects and colors and things and materials that you like, doesn't matter if it's not home related, there is some way of extracting information from that and translating it into your home. Travel is another rich source of inspiration. Visiting vintage shops, collecting unique outfits and accessories, and exploring new cities can provide endless design ideas. Design is all around us. Get lost in your explorations and continuously educate your eye to uncover new possibilities. Starting a design project involves defining your client's needs and wants by asking lots of questions. Understanding their requirements comes from attentive listening and thorough questioning. And if you don't have a client and you're just designing for yourself, this also applies to you. Treat yourself as a client. Think about what you want. How do you want the space to look? How do you want the space to be functional? How do you want to use it? What do you like? So when you're starting projects, sometimes it's already good to start drawing inspiration from the existing architecture and building fabric of the project. You want the exterior and the interior to speak to each other. Respecting the history and architectural details of the building is crucial. Consider who the architect was, what the exterior elevation looks like, and the style and placement of the windows. Details like this offer valuable inspiration and context to ensure your design is both respectful of the building's heritage and tailored to your or the client's desires. Working with space requires an imaginative and playful approach, especially with odd or awkward areas. But with some imagination and creativity, these spaces can be transformed into surprising and unique features. So in a very small confined space, well, small confined in the context of celebrity homes is not really that small, but let's just go with the flow. So in a very small confined space, like a dressing room, if you want to make it feel more grand and spacious, you can just plaster a mirror everywhere and somehow it will expand the amount of volume you think the space has. Don't fight against the uniqueness of awkward spaces. Just really embrace your awkwardness of a space. For example, if it's a corridor and it has one awkward column, maybe you can just replicate this column, use repetition, really fully embrace it, go into it, and maybe create something magical. In every project, Kelly Wearstler starts with a vibe tray. This is a collection of colors, materials, samples, and millwork pieces that she assembles to see how they work together. The vibe tray allows her to switch out elements that don't fit until she finds a harmonious combination. This method ensures that the overall design palette is cohesive and aesthetically pleasing from the start. So if you're starting a new project, you can also create a vibe tray of your own for each room that you're going to work in, and you can put together all the things that you like and all the colors and materials you like and see if they kind of go together. It's just a very quick, easy way of combining a lot of different materials beforehand to make sure that they kind of match before you're fully committed. Obviously, in these fancy projects, you have a lot of very fantastically expensive, luxurious materials like big pieces of stone, marble, cool tiles, beautiful wood flooring, and we can't always afford this. And for those on a budget, she suggests using affordable materials like paint in different finishes and plasters. Even something simple like paint color can achieve stunning effects without a significant investment. So good design doesn't have to be expensive, but if you don't have the budget, you have to work a little bit extra hard and be a little bit more imaginative. But that's okay. That's why you're watching videos like this, right? She says living without color is like living without love. and I'm starting to agree more and more. I feel like when I look at images of very sterile environments versus slightly more colorful, rich environments, one is just so much more appealing and attractive and homely than the other. So how does she suggest we add color and pick color into our homes? Well, to discover the colors that work best for you, start by looking in your closet. The colors you look good in are often the ones you'll feel good in when used in your home. If you're unsure about which colors you like, begin with the process of elimination. Identify the colors you don't like. Remember, black and white are also colors and can be really powerful design elements, and it's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. She says this like a lot, like don't be afraid of color, don't be afraid to experiment, just go with what you think you will like, and you'll figure it out along the way. How do you figure it out? Well, she recommends painting large swatches on your walls and observe them when dry, because when the color is dry on the wall, it will look a little bit different than when it's wet. And live with the color for like a week. Watch how the color changes at different times of the day. Depending on the color of the light that is coming through at different points of the day, the color on the wall will also change. So see if you like it throughout the day at all times. If it makes you feel good, then you can go ahead and paint your whole room that color. The veining of marble and the grain of wood are examples of how pattern and texture can add energy to a room. Patterns can dramatically change depending on their scale, color, and the material they're on. For example, a chair with a small pattern looks a lot more refined, while the same chair with a large pattern appears modern and edgy. And similarly, a muted color pattern can create a calm atmosphere, whereas a high contrast pattern creates excitement and dynamic energy. Don't be afraid of texture and pattern, but know that the scale of a pattern will change how calm or energetic it tends to feel. Bring in as much natural light into your home as possible. Even a slither of light can dramatically transform a space. If you're creating windows and you can't create more on your walls, the light from the skylight can penetrate multiple levels at once, completely transforming your entire house. Make sure you do it in multiple layers. Don't rely on just one big light. Successful lighting design guides your eyes around the room, so you're looking at lights placed at many different levels. Don't just think of light as something functional, it can also be a piece of art, a piece of sculpture. It can make a statement, it can be a piece of your branding, something that really appeals to you. LED strip lights are excellent for highlighting architectural features and can be used in closets and kitchens. When they first came out, LED lights tend to be a little bit white, blue, and quite harsh, but now you can get them in different lighting temperature colors. So for a nice cozy interior glow, go for something like 2700 kelvins. No detail is too small. Design is in the details. If you're passionate about design, that is the things that you notice. So for example, cord management is not something people tend to think about, but it can actually be very, very stylish. And when it comes to furnishing your space, balance and symmetry is obviously very nice, but it doesn't mean having matching and identical furniture pieces. A well-balanced and symmetrical room can be achieved through a thoughtful arrangement of different elements rather than simply using pairs of matching items. For chairs, comfort is really important, so always test out the comfort of a chair by sitting in it yourself before buying it. And when it comes to furnishing the space, I think a lot of designers and architects just tend to look at the floor plan and design it two-dimensionally, and she really tries to highlight that you have to experience the space as a whole 3D volume. So go sit in the space, look at it from different angles, look at the elevations, see the space, how light comes through and how big it feels or how small it feels. Try to think of it in 3D rather than 2D. After all, you live in a space where there are dimensions and heights, not just a 2D floor plan. Art in interiors can be many things: furniture, light fixtures, or even a unique chair. Kelly encourages bringing magic into your interiors by letting curiosity guide you. Look at what you already own and love. This can be a clue to what you might actually want to collect. For example, if you have a passion for shoes, think about how you could showcase them. And if you love chairs, let that passion inspire your choices. Fill your dining table with different types of chairs and your living room with a lot of different armchairs rather than one big, L-shaped sofa. When creating a gallery wall at home, diversify your medium. Don't feel restricted to just photographs or ceramics. Mix different types of art and objects to create tension and beauty that pleases your eye. Make a statement with a focal point, something that immediately draws attention. This dominant piece will tell a story and sets the tone for the rest of the room. So in a bedroom, the focal point would obviously be the bed. In a dining room, it would be the dining table. In the living room, it could be the sofa, it could be the coffee table, it could also be a piece of art that's on the wall. Scale plays a fascinating role in art placement. Don't feel obligated to match the size of the art to the size of the wall that it has to fill up. You can have a really large piece of art on a small wall or a tiny piece on a large wall. So those are the key takeaways I got from her course. I hope that was interesting. So now let's go over the pros and cons of her class. I try to be quite a positive person, so I think we should start with the good stuff. So I think if you're like me and you are used to seeing interiors that's of a certain style and you feel a bit oversaturated, that it's all starting to look the same, watching her class and watching her talk about her projects is such a breath of fresh air. It just inspires your passion once again for what design could be. You don't have to minimize your style aesthetics to fit a cookie cutter mold that's deemed acceptable by social media nowadays. It's okay to do unusual stuff. Another pro is that she shares stories of mistakes that she's made in her projects, quite openly actually, and sometimes she says these mistakes can be quite costly. Even the real pro professionals make mistakes, and that's absolutely fine because you learn from them. You can't always get it right, and somehow this is just very encouraging to hear, right? We all know the feeling when we go into a furniture store and we're trying to pick, I don't know, the right armchair, and you sit in about 50 armchairs, and afterwards they're all kind of blending together and they all feel very similar, and you just don't know anymore if you're making the right choice. Well, you know what? Even people who have 30 years experience and have multi-million budgets sometimes also get it wrong. So it's okay. Just pick the thing that you like and probably it works out. But if not, it's not the end of the world. You can just pick another one in a few years' time. And of course, the class is beautifully produced. The visuals are lovely. The lighting is perfect. The audio is fantastic. It's easy to follow. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like you're watching educational content. She encourages people to be experimental and to have fun, to design spaces based on things that you like yourself. Don't just follow trends, follow what's already out there. Do more of what appeals to you. So now let's talk a little bit about what I think is not so good in this class. So first of all, I feel like some advice are just too generic. Everything can be art. Don't be afraid of color. But what good color combinations does feel good? What colors make your space feel smaller? What colors are soothing? What colors, bring out the energy of the space and should be avoided in the bedroom? So after 150 minutes, you might still feel a bit unsure about how to design your home. You feel inspired and you feel excited to go out, grab a lot of different materials from all of your house, but you don't really know still how to lay out a room, how high to hang the lights, what colors are good, what material is not durable. I would not necessarily recommend this course to everyone because I think while you'll walk away feeling visually inspired, you won't really have any more foundational, basic, pragmatic knowledge about how to design. So I would recommend her course to people who love design and who already have some very pragmatic, foundational knowledge about how to design space, but just needs a little bit of extra push, some inspiration from someone with a very bold, unique design voice to, jolt you out of the bland beige era that so much of social media is in nowadays. For tips about how to handle everyday design challenges, you should watch my videos instead on my YouTube channel and subscribe. Thanks guys, see you next week. And in the meantime, you might want to check out some videos that's popping off the screen right now. Bye!